Nick, episode 1 of our podcast.
We're live.
We are live. Is that what we say?
Now it's first one.
Okay, cool. So this is obviously something new we're going to take on. I don't know about you, but we're in the driver's seat this time. Normally on a podcast, I feel like we're getting interrogated.
Yes. Yeah,
Well, that's how it feels like,
Yeah,
right?
usually it's not something we want to do, but we have to do. Now we get to have some fun with it.
That's true. And I think it's different, but in coaching realm, we normally do ask the questions. You know, we stem them, we ask the athletes some stuff. So I find it'll be easier once we speak to our athletes and go through that. But before we go into all that stuff and why we've come about a podcast, I do want to rewind the clock a little bit. Now, I don't know if anyone else has noticed, but we've just had a crazy 6 months. Probably a little bit longer, right?
Yeah, I mean, 12 months is probably the way to go about it, right? Like 12 months it's been that we've been together, full relationship as CEO, owner with Tia. Everything's kind of meshed together finally for us. And I would say, like, I think it's felt like 5 years. I don't know about you, but more than 12 months for sure. You guys obviously see we're in a whole new room now, which is awesome. The podcast room is a part of our Prvn Nashville facility now. So all of this coming together has been kind of a dream come true for me, I know, but for you guys, it's even more of a long thought of you used to be affiliate owners. You're an affiliate owner again, which I don't know if you ever thought that was going to be in the cards.
I don't know. Hey, like when we packed up and we did all that in Gladstone in Australia, we never thought that would be a reality of doing this again. There were so many elements that we loved about the small community aspect. And then we'll talk more about the community because that's what really fast forward allowed us to have this vision of bringing it back. So the answer to your question, no, I didn't think so. But here we are. I think we've learnt a lot throughout our journey, and fortunately our brand has allowed us to reach the masses through social media and obviously Tia success, and that has just expedited where we are, and it just opened up an opportunity for us to really dive deep into the community aspect. But
yeah, I think the crazy thing is, right, last year we didn't know Tia would be taking a year off when we got into all of this. It was one of those things where it was a good surprise, obviously, with Willow being here. Yep. If you didn't know, if you've been under a rock, Shane didn't have a baby. Tia had a baby. But it's one of those things where we were only able to grow the business the way we were and as fast as we could because she wasn't competing, I believe, right? And it's one of those things where we look back now and she's in a spot where she's in her dream training location. You guys have this amazing facility. We are growing a brand bigger than we ever thought we could. And it's just cool to sit back finally and see the work pay off. Have you had the moment yet to where you kind of can take it all in? I know you're just getting back from Australia.
Yeah.
So what's that like right now?
So, yes, there is a moment, but throughout this build, remember we came out in November, we started doing all that. And I thought I had a pretty special moment. I'm going, oh crap, I've got a special team here, you know, like we literally did over 30 hours worth of work here one time because we just had a scissor lift. And then we thought, damn, we got to knuckle down and utilize it while we have it. So we did this overnighter, and that was pretty special to see the people stay back and do that. And you had some friends come from Michigan, and they're a part of our brand now. Like they're the DNA. So very fortunate for them. But that was pretty surreal for me. But fast forwarding to now, the official opening now, we've been open just over 2 weeks now. We had a special moment, Tia and I, driving home last night. We spoke about like how crazy it is when we were closing up, turning the lights off, and then pretty much making our way to the car. We thought how crazy, like how life has just brought us back to this moment of owning affiliate, but being proud of something, you know, and that's not something that I openly talk too much about, being proud of this and that. But I found myself being proud to have an affiliate that lives up to the expectation that I want it to be, you know? So it's crazy, man. Like I wish I could convey the words of like how special it is to me. I think the best way we can do it is if you come in and actually see the space and hopefully you feel like what we've tried to put out here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the coolest thing for us is we've talked about it. It would have been very easy for us to just kind of buy our own building, have a private training facility for elite athletes and our pro athletes. It would have been a lot easier than what we've done here, that's for sure. But at the end of the day, the only reason we are here is because of CrossFit, right? Because of affiliates and because of the community like you spoke about. So to see people coming in these doors now that are coming here because they want to be here, they want to be a part of what we're building, and it's taken away a little bit out of the pro side of things, which that'll always be great for us. It's always fun to go through the season, but this has been, I think, even more fun during the off season because from the ground up, we're able to build a community of people who we may know for the next 20, 30 years of our life, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And I think going back to Willow, right, that's one of those things where, is that what you guys wanted out of this place coming back? Do you want to see her grow up with the people that are in this community? And was that something that you realized before you came over?
Look, I don't think it was. That wasn't really a thought of mine or where that would fit in the picture. But seeing it unfold, and I think maybe that's where you probably saw the insight was, seeing her be surrounded by so many like inspirational women and men for that matter, but obviously being a young girl, so she could see that at first eyes. But surrounded by people aspiring to be better than themselves, like improve their life. That's something special to me, and it's a great quality of life, right? Working on fitness. I think that's a byproduct of it all. I come back to this element that all of us started at the roots of CrossFit. We went through the ranks. We did our on-ramping, or we did our first week of CrossFit. That's when we started getting hooked, and we worked on that. And then we started building relationships and friendships outside of the space. Now, it's almost like we're yearning for it. We're looking for that again. Like, we've got this great facility now, but I know one of the big aspects for us was, okay, we want an affiliate aspect, our affiliate side, and we want a pro side. We want to divide it. We don't want to separate the two. We want to work on how we can make it harmonize or work together. But an affiliate was a big aspect or aspiration for us. And also finding a facility that could facilitate both was a big mountain to climb.
Yeah, I think that's been the biggest realization for me. I know you guys are just getting back, but to be able to see the pro athletes integrate into the community. We've obviously had a lot of changes with new athletes coming in, new coaches coming in, finally growing to a spot to where we feel really good about the year ahead. Yeah. So now to have a place for them to all live, but it not just being secluded completely from the outside community of CrossFit. So like week one, we talked about it. We had a community sweat event with our new GM, Mitch, and every single one of our athletes that's here in person, we didn't even have to ask them. They're like, I want to come to this event and I want to do the workout. From an athlete standpoint, that workout does nothing for them, right? Like, it doesn't help their training. It's like more of a warm-up for anything. But to see them kind of get into that class, meet new people, and not even just congregate together, but kind of spread out and meet the people that they're going to be really 10 feet away from for the rest of their career, hopefully with us, has been special. Because I didn't see that coming. Like, we want to make them feel like pro athletes. We don't want to force it on them to be in the affiliate and be in class. We hope that happens organically, and week one it did. So like, it gives us a good refreshing sense of we have the right people around. We've got an amazing community behind us, and to see that mesh now that the Open is this week and moving forward the quarterfinals and semifinals and the games, to now have people that can root for our athletes and feel connected to them is special.
Yeah, I never asked you, Nick, but is there anything special that stands out to you throughout like the opening, or have you had a minute to like absorb this? Because this is a big undertaking for yourself, right? Like, I know from when we were in Australia and then just correspondence with you, like, I know there was a lot of moving parts to see this take place, and I'm sure every affiliate owner knows how big of a burden this is.
I think that's the funny part, right, is no matter what gym you open or affiliate, like, we obviously have amazing partners and people that have helped us open this place, but you're still having to do all the hard work when it comes to opening this place. So it's been tough, and I think we get in that kind of sense of like just grind until it's done. But the one time that I did get a chance to kind of sit back and enjoy what had happened and realize, hey, all this was worth it. The sleepless nights, everything that we've done so far is putting us on a right track instead of just putting us in a hole, was the weekend. I wasn't even here, but the weekend that the 150 gym owners showed up with best hour of their day. So good thing, if you guys haven't heard that story, it's a good one, because our new GM got thrown in with 150 gym owners. I was gone, Dwight was gone, you were gone, Tia's gone. So I told somebody, I was like, we're either going to come back to no GM or we're going to come back to a GM for the rest of our lives, which Mitch just crushed it, and it was an amazing experience. But to throw 150 people into a facility and not feel overcrowded and not feel like we didn't have enough equipment was kind of the moment I realized we're doing everything right. just stay on that path, breathe a little bit, enjoy what we're doing. And I think that was the moment where that light bulb went off to where we're building something really special and we know where we're going, and the trajectory of growth that we're on is worth it. So, hey guys, remember the Open is coming up and quarterfinals are taking even more athletes than ever before. So if you guys are looking to get on one of our fitness programs, we've got 7-day trials on our Proven 60, Affiliate, Proven Compete, and Proven Masters, and all of those are going to be filled with different leveled options. No matter what your goals are and no matter what skill levels you're at, we've got an option for you.
I know you've got a few projects that are coming up in the next few weeks that I think we could talk about now, right? Like it's been officially announced.
24.3. Officially live. We've been holding this secret in for a good time now.
And that's tough.
Yeah, it was, because we have so many events that we're trying to put on all at once. So now that we can talk about it, the big weekend for our grand opening is centered around that. So Thursday, 24.3. This will be coming out in the next week or so. So we're going to have tickets for you guys if there's any left at that point. But it's a community event. So that's the best thing about the CrossFit Open. Completely free. We want as many people as we can. CrossFit is telling us that we can fit 250 people in that room, which is for us.
Hey, we'll try.
Yeah, they're the experts here. So we are going to try to fit as many people as we can there. I think, and then Friday Night Lights, where we're going to integrate some of our athletes for the first time in an event like that. We've got an MC coming, a lot of community that'll be here. And then our grand opening Saturday, where all of our partners, so pretty much everybody that helped not only our brand get started, but this business get started as far as our affiliate goes will be here. And we're just going to have a really cool blowout Saturday of people can hang around all day. We've got a lot of people that'll set up vending spots and things like that. We want all you guys to be here. So just look out for that stuff, that information.
That's probably a good plug there, guys. So if you are watching this and you want to be a part of the live announcement, head over to our social channels. I think we're still trying to build that out in the back end of the system.
By the time this comes out, you guys will definitely know that for sure. But back to the announcement, like I've never been a part of one. I know you've been a part of one, I believe, with Tia in Miami. But what was your first thoughts when you heard that they wanted to have it here?
I don't think too far ahead with it. You know, like I think at the time when they first announced or asked us, it was more like they were just poking around to see if we'd be interested in hosting it. I know you wanted to be here pretty bad. For me, I was more like, I don't want to disrupt the workflow that we had or the soft launch that we had. I think the timeline worked out really well. The fact that they suggested the last one works really well in our timeline. Look, I'm excited for it. I just know that there's a lot of work and it could disrupt the workflow that entire week. But I think it's a great grand opening for our affiliate and to put us, hopefully, some more eyes to see how great our facility is, you know, and that's biased, right? Like I'm proud of what we've got, and I've mentioned that earlier, but I think it's going to be great for more eyes to see it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those things, thankfully now, and I don't know if this is a good or bad thing, but the Open isn't as stressful for our athletes, which is really good. So I think it's going to be cool to see them kind of interact with the community. You know, they're going to be judging some people in our community for the first time, which means a lot to people. I think it's a cool opportunity there to where they can jump in on Friday Night Lights. They can get in some heats with them. It's going to be fun for us to figure out how that'll work, especially obviously with the Open, we don't know the workouts. So to see how the gym may work for the first time, even though we've been doing this for so long, when you get into a brand new space, you don't exactly know how that'll work. So we'll see, like whatever's thrown at us.
Our rig at the back there, guys. So if you haven't seen it on our social media, it's the best we could do to simulate what a semifinals rig would look like. So when we spoke to Rogue, they said, look, we can't give you identical, but this is the closest we can do because they don't want to give us an advantage by having the precise rig, and we respected that. So we wanted to mock up or simulate something as close as we could so that our athletes could have an opportunity to simulate semifinals workouts. So I believe the Open, they're going to utilize that rig. I know Nick has been doing some video calls with them, showing them the parameters and distances and all the possibilities. And they've been pretty tight-knit with all that. Like they haven't said anything. They've just, well, I don't even know. Did they say anything to you?
With the setup, it's going to be really interesting because it's a big operation. Like I had no idea how in-depth all this was with their broadcast team, how many people they need to bring in to set things up. Thankfully, like you said, that same rig they usually set up for Open announcements is exactly what we have. So we've talked to them a few times, and they've been so thankful because they don't have to do much setup when it comes to that. The barricades will be up and things like that, but I think it'll be cool to see all those people in that room that we usually will reserve for 5 to 6 people, which would be something we didn't foresee coming, but now it's cool that we can at least facilitate that. And they're really excited because it's going to be lit differently than they normally do, right? So normally they've got that real blackout background where they've got their lights in, but we've lit that place really well to where we've got the whitish walls with the contrast of our logos to where they're going to just use our lighting.
Really? Okay.
So that'll be an interesting thing to see, because I think like you go to YouTube, you go to the live announcements, you usually are used to seeing one aesthetic of that background. So I'm interested. Like, I don't even know what it's going to look like at this point, but they'll be here. Oh man, the third week, that'd be the Monday. So they'll have 4 days.
Yeah, I remember you saying it's like they're here for like an entire week setting it up, man. Like, so they must just. This is Justin's week 2, right?
Yeah, Justin and Colton are week 2, and then
because that's Justin's garage.
Yep.
Yeah, and Colton will be there throwing down with him, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Colton will be here week 1 with us, which will be cool. It'll be our first interaction with him.
Cool.
And then week 2 he goes out there. And then I think he's doing another one week 3 with like, it's not an official CrossFit one, but it's
he's on the
streamed
road, man.
Yeah, man.
Dang.
He's getting after it.
Oh, good on him. Like, if there's a chance
Yeah.
throughout the season to bounce around and get some good exposure in terms of like high level competition, it'd be the Open, right? Like, I think quarterfinals, people sort of hunker down and stay within their confines, like their comfortable walls, and then obviously semifinals, it's full go. So I think the Open is a great time for that. And same with Tia and I, actually. So we're actually heading off to Rogue, so the Arnold.
The Arnold, yep.
The Arnold. Tia's got a few commitments there with the Rain and Rogue. So we're actually heading out there after our Friday Night Lights.
Yep.
And then we're going
So
to be...
that's Saturday, Sunday, or just Saturday?
Yes. I don't know.
If you guys don't know, if Shane doesn't know an answer to a question, he just says yes. So just moving forward, that's for you.
Yes, we are going there. In terms of length, I don't know. So I'll have to speak to...
That's a fun event, though. That's one where, I mean, thankfully, the Open, again, it's not too stressful, so she can jump in and have a good time there.
Yep.
You guys were there last year, right? Yes, you were there last year. Was
Were we?
that a good time? Yeah,
honestly,
so Matt was there, Jeff was there, right?
Yeah. It's honestly the Rogue, the Arnold and Rogue housing us and looking after the athletes and myself. It's always like the top tier, right? Like they really look after athletes, and you can see that with the longevity of their athletes being a Rogue athlete. You can see that in the relationship, and the equipment is second to none. Like, the way they do one thing is clearly how they do everything. It's just top notch.
And it's Columbus.
Yep.
Right? It's just a convention center, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I think Tia's got a few time slots throughout that, so I'm going to be on daddy daycare duty there, right? Some quality time there. So I don't know, because Columbus gets pretty bloody cold for me, so I might just stay in the hotel.
You're starting to
or
get
the
good
Airbnb.
weather here, so it's...
Right, yeah. So I thought February was the cold month.
Here, yeah. Well, I mean, Tennessee gets weird. Columbus is probably going to be cold.
Dang.
But it's getting nice here, which is good. So, okay, so you're there with Willow and Tia.
Yep. And then week 2 we'll be here.
Yep.
So really we won't miss the Open announcement here. So we'll be here like throughout the whole time. But this weekend we have our community sweat. So we're going to also be here hosting and being involved into that community.
And this will be your guys' first community workout here. Yep. And this is going to be something, again, like for you guys, if you're watching, we're going to be doing these once a month, to where this is just a big community workout. I think we had over 100 people last time in 2 classes. So it's a good opportunity for you guys not only to see the gym, but also to meet us, meet our athletes. They jump in on the workout and just have a good Saturday.
Yeah. And I think if you're like, oh, heck, 100 people is a lot, we've comfortably worked out how many people we could have in here, and we've capped it. So it's not like we're conscious of that too. We don't want to make sure that the experience, it just feels, stale.
I think that was a big realization for me the first time we did it too. When you guys were gone, we had our first community sweat, to realize we can house over 100 people in one class, space-wise.
And equipment-wise.
Equipment-wise, too.
Because we've got like 18 Concept 2 machines of each.
Yeah, and then Echo Bikes, too, with Rogue.
Yeah. Like, honestly, like, that blows my mind away. I remember when we got one bike erg, we're like, holy crap, we made it. Like, this is unreal.
Yeah, and
now,
I also remember when we were putting that spreadsheet together, we're like, this isn't enough. We were going to need more.
And it's an investment, right? Like Concept 2, like time after time, those machines don't break down. For how durable and how frequent they're used. Like, think about a rower and affiliate. They last for like 5, 10 plus years, and they get hounded 2 or 3 times. They get people who've never used a rowing machine, and they get people PR in a 1K 500 split. So you know that it's been tested. So it's awesome. So we've got 18 of them. We've got the same amount of echo bikes as well. So we've factored in, and Mitch has done a great job of like seeing what our limitation is. So we're very comfortable that we can.
And if you guys haven't seen all of the Signs RX stuff that they have given us, man, oh my goodness. When you walk in this place, it's on a different level. I didn't even know half the stuff that they offered for machine wraps and things like that, but those guys have crushed it with this place. And the wall graphics of your guys' mural, I know that was something that we worked on for a really long time to come to life. And now we were hoping it would be kind of the photo wall, and it's turned into exactly that. So that's got to be cool to see.
Yeah, it's cool to see. Like if you look closely, well, it's probably not that close, but I was hoping it to be more faded out, but I am in there.
We put you in the corner.
I did ask for Nick for me not to be in there. And I wanted just some form of like some coach in there. So he opted to put me in there, and I was hoping that he could fade me out a little bit more.
So that started at the games, right? When we did the booth, and you didn't know you were on the booth until you showed up in Madison.
And I look, it's not that I don't want to be in, let's call it literally the limelights here. Let's just say that. It's not that. I think it's just more the fact that I want our brand to be known for the team that we have, not for the one person carrying that and on the back, so to speak. And not that it's probably perceived that way, but Tia and I, our vision is to make Prvn bigger than ourselves. And then hence the community too of what we want an affiliate for, right? We want to create a community aspect or a feel that they feel just as involved or just as important as we do, right? And so that's us giving back, and that's sort of the hidden message or goal that Tia and I want to achieve, is to allow the brand to be bigger than ourselves. And that's something special, and we've spoken about that. And it's hard because there is that fine line where it's like, hey, let's use your likeness or your image because you have, in my case, a couple 100,000 followers. I don't even know. But Tia, obviously, like, the multiple millions that she has, and utilizing that. But I know we have this tug of war balance of like, hey, I would love to see community members on our platform, and I want to show the vast range of fitness levels that we work with. And anyway, it's just that social media realm where we need to navigate that and go with the themes, and Brendan does a good job with that, and with working with Aaron. But it's just this tug of war of balance. So anyway, coming back to that, like I don't mind, like I like it. It is what do you say? Like it is a special moment to be recognized for what I do, but I'm just as happy or just as excited to see someone else up on that wall knowing the work and commitment they've done for the brand.
Well, I think that it goes back to being a coach, right? Like all of our coaches, they are at the level they are, and you started this because you're selfless, right? Like a lot of coaches don't get seen, they're behind the curtain. Even in pro sports, like I couldn't name more than 5 coaches, I think, in the NFL or the NBA right now. But they are the ones driving the ship. They're the only reason that things go well. The athletes do the job, and we need to have athletes, but it's also something that needs to be talked about, and you need to be shown at some point. But I think that goes back to the preface of this podcast. I think we have always been in the vein of not wanting to share too much, right? Like when you're a coach and you have athletes, you don't want to give away every secret you've ever done for them, or give away training secrets, if you might say that. But that's kind of our goal in 2024, is we want to kind of open the curtain a little bit, right? Especially with our athletes that are now community members at our gym. This is a platform that we can give back and kind of show people what Prvn means in a deeper level. And just having you on here, I think, is maybe some more FaceTime than people have ever had, which is really cool. And it gives you an opportunity to talk to them as well. That's what I'm most excited about for this, for sure.
And I think and that's probably a good topic or segue, right? Like our objective with our podcast is to provide insight, right? From professionals, from athletes, give them the discussions and debates, right? Like in terms of like some of the protocols that we do, or some of the insight that we get from professions, and push back and hear from them. But we also just curious. We're coaches at the end of the day, and we're just curious in the realm of fitness and in health. So we want to like look at those barriers, find out what those trends are, and we want to convey that in a different way than we'd typically seen in the past. And like we said at the start, man, we're learning through this. So if you're new to this channel, which you would be, because it's episode 1.
You're the first ones.
We appreciate you guys being the founding listeners. So if you are, please comment that down below. But more importantly, like we're going to get this wrong, and we're going to get better and better, and we're going to evolve on this time after time. So we just want to make sure that the consistent message or the consistent growth in this is that we're giving insight, and then we're giving them some of the learnings and feedback that we've received or we've learned throughout our time.
Yeah, I think learning is the right word there, right? And we talked about this with our athletes going into the season, is that the minute you stop learning is the moment you stop growing. So it's one of those things where even for us, I feel we're on a great trajectory of growth. But if we get complacent with that, that's when we stop growing, and we've got to always push the envelope. And that even means having guests on here that we may know nothing about. So let's take Dr. Tom with McCoy Medical. He's probably going to get on this podcast, and everything he says is going to go over our head.
Yep.
But it means we can take tidbits out of that, and we can take things that can not only help us, but help our athletes as well. So that's a big thing about this. It just gives us an opportunity to talk about things that we haven't in the past. So it's cool. So going back to, you said you're going to have Willow at the Arnold.
Yep. Arnold.
So Willow is here.
Yes.
She is 9 months.
Yep.
Which seems crazy. Like it feels like it was.
I feel like I'm not going to be the guy. So quote me if I do it, but I'm not going to say 9 months, 3 days, 3 minutes.
When she's 37 months. Yeah. What you keep saying that?
I was wondering that actually this morning when Tia's father asked how old Willow was, and we said, or Tia said 9 months, 2 weeks. I'm like, that's strange. And then, but Tia goes, she's almost double digits. And I'm like, oh man, that's gone so quick.
That's wild.
But I think after 12 months, when she turns 12 months, I'll say 1 year generally.
Glad to hear that.
But if I'm talking to another parent to parent, what is like around that 1 year mark, I'll go 13 months or 14.
It's got to be like the checkpoints, right? Because people always ask, is she crawling? Is she eating on her own? Is she walking?
Yeah.
That's got to be kind of coinciding there.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like
you're figuring it out too.
I mean, like that's the exciting part. Like we're learning as we go through that journey too. And I think for those that are wondering, it is a constant like learn, balance, struggle, and dependent on each other to get that flow right. And I wouldn't say that no 2 weeks or no 2 days have looked identical. And I'm gonna say I bloody love it. I just love not the chaos, but I love that I'm able to support, or I'm in need to help foster or to be a father.
Dependent on, for sure.
Yeah,
and I think it's you're doing something for the first time, which when's the last time that you ever got to do that, where like you said, it could be hour by hour, something brand new happens. Like she's crawling around this gym like crazy now. So, I mean, that's one, you got to keep eyes in the back of your head. But what's been the biggest thing now that trying to run a business and obviously trying to do what we're trying to do, but then also being a dad at the same time, what's been the hardest part of that?
Just juggling it all, to be honest. And I think many people here are fathers. It doesn't matter what realm or, level of career you're at. I think we all find it difficult at times, Tia and myself are just here on our, I won't say just on our own. We've got great network and great friends to help us out throughout this period of time too. Fortunately, actually, Tia's father came last night, so he's going to be here throughout the open period, which is awesome. It'll give us more time back, and then just, I don't know if that's fair. It'll allow us to juggle more things.
Stay focused. Yep.
But I'd say time management is just, no 2 days are the same, right? So sleep schedule is a little bit off, and she's learning and developing, and you want to be there for that, and you also want to make sure that you don't drop anything professionally too. So I think it's just that dependability on your team and network, and you've been phenomenal in supporting us through that. So I don't know. I don't know if he's asking for it, but thank you, Nick, for
this is a Nick compliment session. If you guys didn't know,
so it's awesome to have a team around us that like just comprehend and understand that, and you don't even have kids, but you're the first to like, hey, do you need help or anything like that? So that just goes a long way. So I think juggling it all, I thought initially the sleep would be a large impact.
Was it at the beginning, like the very beginning? Because I know you guys were struggling a little bit.
Well, like it's self-inflicted.
Yep.
Right. Like we'd put her in her crib, and then we'd go sit on the couch for 15 minutes, or go to bed, and like, wait a second. It's too quiet. And then you get up out of bed, and you just put your hand on her chest to make sure she's breathing, or her head.
Yep.
And then sometimes, I don't know if anyone else has done it, you just poke them to make sure that they're alive. And that's just like self-inflicted. Like she's fine and we should go to bed. But it's that sleeping wasn't a problem. I actually love it. Like throughout the night, if she calls for it, I'll get up. Like sure, I'm a bit slow, but I think it's still special. I know at some point it's going to stop. And if I hear every parent tell me it goes quick, and I'm starting to recognize that even though it's only been 9 months in the game. So I do want to cherish that. And I know I'm in a fortunate spot because Tia doesn't get to do that because she has to prioritize her sleep. So I guess on Tia's side of things, right, I know she misses that. She wants that part. But she knows that prioritizing her sleep is just going to set us up for set up herself up and our future up for the better, right? Like sleep is the best thing that she could possibly do for her body.
Yeah.
So I'm fortunate enough that I get to do that role. So I don't know. I love that part.
Yeah.
But I think just the professional aspect is just we're in a unique spot too. Like our profession requires us to be together, coach and athlete, and our profession also allows us to take our child to work.
Yeah.
We don't have childcare support or any of those. I don't even know what that looks like. Maybe one day in the future we'll have that, but we've fortunately got family that are going to help us throughout the season. So we've got Tia's grandparents going to come out for the quarterfinals, so they're doing like a little trade-off or
you got a
switch
whole
in
team
and out.
for you.
Yeah, so honestly, man, like it's a roller coaster, but man, I wouldn't trade it for a thing. It's absolutely the best thing that we've ever achieved and done, and man, like even to see her growth to this point has just been phenomenal. Like some of the best things that I've ever seen. So it's absolutely heightened everything. And all I'd say is all it's changed is heightened all the good things. That anything bad happens to you today, you could just look at your daughter or your kids and everything's forgotten pretty quick.
Well, I think I've even had that with her.
Cool.
Like I've walked out of the office after just being in 7 hours of meetings and like you can't not just smile when she's crawling around smiling. Like it's one of the coolest things. Sorry, you don't do that for me when I look at you.
I thought that was going to be with me, but I think like the whole North Star thing, right? Like it just puts clarity in your direction of what you want to achieve, right? Like does it align with what you're trying to envision, your goals or your aspirations, and does that help support or facilitate a better upbringing for Willow? Then that answers a lot of things quite quickly.
When I don't know if I've ever told you this, but my grandfather was a coach for 40 years, college baseball. And so the minute I could walk, I was around his team in the dugout, whatever it is. There's some good pictures of this. But those guys still reach out, like guys that I don't even remember. Cool. And it's one of those things with the gym, like she's going to build relationships here that people will watch her grow up. She won't remember them as much, right? But they're people that feel connected to her, feel connected to you guys, and it'll help her grow into a really awesome person because you guys will always do the best job that you can and that you will do. But there's also going to be some people that you don't even realize that are going to help her grow up, that I've gone through that. And like you look back and you're really thankful for that, to have community around you, which is cool.
Yeah. And like for the listeners too, if they haven't followed us, which is fine. So Willow was born in America, so she's actually an American citizen, which is crazy. And that was a conscious decision for us because obviously our lives are here. Like we spend majority of our year in the US, and for future possibilities, it opens up doors that I never had or nor Tia. Even for yourselves, right? Like for her to grow up at the age of 16 or 17, and if she wakes up one day and goes, you know what, I want to go over to America, or you know what, I want to go back to Australia and I want to study abroad, or I want to play college and do sport or music or chess, whatever it may be.
You got some time there.
Yeah, we'll see. Like, see what she wants to take it. It now just opens up doors that was never a possibility for us, right? Like, sure, I mean, it's just a lot easier. The barrier is a lot easier for her to comprehend that. So we want to make sure that we can house and facilitate that. And with that, right, so we've just got a great medical team around her that can help foster her and grow her and do the checks every 3, 6, whatever they are.
Yeah, and I think it's the coolest part is the physical aspect of it, right? Like she's always going to grow up, whether she wants to do CrossFit or not. She's going to be healthy. She has people around her that can check on those things, which is really cool. And she's just going to be active from a young age, which we're not seeing a lot of in the U.S. I can tell you that much. Like Australia, it feels like it's a little bit more that way, just because you guys are outside, you're doing a lot more activity. But this will be cool for her because no matter what she wants to do, she's going to be a healthy kid.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I think so. Like, we have our kryptonites, right? Like, you give us a block of chocolate and I'll smack that down pretty quick. But in terms of balance, I think the educational component will be there for sure. I think, honestly, man, like, I'm just excited for her to be surrounded with a community of people that are trying to aspire to be a better version of themselves, period.
And that's CrossFit. Like, that's exactly what we want. I would say we crushed this. This was, I think we did pretty good, Brandon. Yeah, pretty good. He's got the
thumbs
approval.
up. Got thumbs up from Brandon.
So this is episode 1.
Yep.
What we would love from you guys is drop a comment below, comment on our social media, whatever it may be, what you would like to see in the future. We're kind of doing this as a blank slate. We don't even have a next guest or anything picked out.
We don't even have a name for this podcast.
We have got nothing.
So unless we do, right? I didn't.
I don't have one.
Do you have one? No.
Nope, nothing yet. We'll tell Aaron to make something.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, this is, like I said, blank slate for us. We want to go wherever you guys want this to go. This is for you guys. It's a look behind the curtain, like we said. So please let us know what you thought of this, where you would like to see us kind of bring this in the future, and what guests you may want on here. We'll have some really cool opportunities now because athletes will be traveling in and out. We've got some cool people coming through. Jay and Maddie will be here in a month or so.
We should get
Colton will be on here. Olivia will be here for
Nick
the
Matthews
Open.
Coming too,
Nick Matthews will be here. Pretty much everybody that we can talk to, we're going to talk to, and give you guys a little more insight into what they are doing in their career, what's going on in their lives, and kind of better conversations than we've ever had before.
Yeah. I think like exactly what Nick said. So if you do want to support us, obviously do that great thing of liking and subscribing to our channel. That goes a long way for our algorithm. I think if you have anything that you want us to do, not just on our social media, but please like put it in our DMs on Instagram or anything like that.
If you got questions on the programs, anything at all, this is a great forum for us. And biggest thing I think coming up is the Open.
Yep.
We'll be here for Friday Night Lights every single week. Even if you're not a member, we would love to have you drop in. We will be here. We'll be throwing down, and then 24.3 will be here. So very excited for all that.
We don't know what our closing line is, so we're just going to wrap it up.
We're going to sign off. Thanks for watching.